Session 44. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Surah Fatiha, the Qur'an summarized. We had finished with Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, the first verse. Now we begin with the second verse, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. What I have done is that for each verse of Surah Fatiha, I have written a chapter on it. So we finished with Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Now we begin with Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, which means the ever compassionate, pitying, the tremendously merciful, and incomprehensibly merciful. Surah Al-Araf verse 156 states, "Rahmati wasiat kulla shayan." And my mercy, Allah states, and my mercy enfolds, envelops each and everything of all the worlds, physical and the metaphysical. 6 Surah Anam verse 12 states, Kulli man ma fis samawati wal arz, kullillahi kataba ala nafsihi ar-rahmah. Ask them, to whom does everything belong in the skies and the earth? Say, it all belongs to Allah. He has taken it himself to be merciful. He has taken it himself to be merciful. 16 Surah Al-Nahl verse 14. وَهُوَ الَّذِي سَخَّرَ الْبَحْرَ لِتَأْكُلُوا مِنْهُ أَحْمًا طَرِيًّا وَتَسْتَخْرِجُوا مِنْهُ هِلْيَةً تَلْبَسُونَهَا وَتَرَى الْفُلْكَ مَوَاخِرَ وَفِيهِ وَلَتَبْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. And He is the one who has subjected the oceans to your service, that you consume fresh meat therefrom and take out the ornaments, pearls, stones, gems, etc. to wear, and you see the ships tearing through its waters. He has endured all this that you seek His bounty, and so that you remain grateful to Him. Now, Malike Yawmuddin, the third verse of Surah Fatiha, Malike Yawmuddin. Only Allah, Rabb, the ever beneficent, the tremendously merciful, is the master of the day of requital, that is absolutely just retribution, punishment and reward based on every individual's performance as demanded by Qur'an and Sunnah. That is just punishment and reward based on every individual's performance as demanded by Qur'an and Sunnah. The Day of Judgment has been mentioned right at the outset of Qur'an for its critical happenings and for being the most consequential for the eternal existence of man. For being the most consequential for the eternal existence of man. 40 Surah Ghafir verse 16. Limanil mulka al-yawma lillahi al-wahidul qahar. To whom does the world belong today? To whom does the world belong today? None else but to Allah alone, all overpowering, omnipotent. Cosmos is the outcome of Allah's rahmat, that is love, affection, blessing, favor, and mercy, and is structured that man may use it to his benefits within the bounds, limits laid down by the Creator. For he will be held accountable for his deeds when the entire mankind has played its innings on the day of judgment. For the man will be held accountable for his deeds when the entire mankind has played its innings on the day of judgment. Allah therefore gives every individual enough freedom and enough time and enough opportunities to take his decisions with an open mind and perform according to his will. Sometimes such a duration is seemingly overextended, so that the righteous may consolidate his deeds based on fear of Allah, and the disbeliever, misguided, agnostic, sinful, given ample opportunity to retract if at any stage he takes time to ponder, evaluate his options in the frame of the purpose of his being created. And that is, give ample opportunity to retract if at any stage he takes time to ponder, evaluate his options in the framework of the purpose of his being created. The believers are directed to create a harmonious global environment wherein mankind may be free to exercise the choice of selecting the straight path, and wherein the believers are not marginalized by satanic elements among the mankind. I repeat that the believers are directed to create a harmonious global environment wherein mankind may be free to exercise the choice of selecting the straight path, and wherein the believers are not marginalized by satanic elements among the mankind. The disbelievers often become the source of testing the faith of the believers. The disbelievers often become the source of testing the faith of the believers. Allah shall decide about their eternal fate on absolute merit on the day of judgment. 17 Surah Bani Israel, verse 45 and 46. وَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ جَعَلْنَا بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ حِجَابًا مَسْتُورًا وَجَعَلْنَا عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ أَكِنَّةً أَن يَفْقَهُوهُ وَفِي آذَانِهِمْ وَقْرًا وَإِذَا ذَكَرْتَ رَبَّكَ فِي الْقُرْآنِ وَحْدَهُ وَلَوْا عَلَىٰ أَدْبَارِهِمْ نُفُورًا. And when you recite the Qur'an, we put an invisible barrier between you and those who do not believe in the hereafter. We keep their hearts curtained off and make them hard of hearing so that they don't comprehend it. When in Quran you mention the oneness of your Rabb, they turn their backs in disgust. The visualization of having to stand before Allah, the Almighty, and the fear of accountability would make any individual listen the right faithful message and make him accept the truth. Contrariwise, those whose hearts are bereft of this conception can't be expected to follow the righteous path and accept the right as revealed by Qur'an. Now, 7th Surah Al-Araf, verse 147 states, وَالَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا وَلِقَاءِ الْآخِرَةِ حَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ وَهَلْ يَجْزَوْنَ إِلَّا مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And those who don't believe our verses and meeting us hereafter, their endeavors are all ruined. Their endeavors are all ruined. Should they be rewarded? But that as they sow, so shall they reap. Should they be rewarded? But that as they sow, so shall they reap. The question is, why do people fail to be logical, rational, sensible when it comes to spiritual matters. The question is, why do people fail to be logical, rational, sensible when it comes to spiritual matters? Time and again, Allah asks His men to think with an open mind. Quran is replete with such directions asking people to ponder, go around, see the world, the manifestations of Allah, to think, evaluate, take the right decision independently, for there is no compulsion in matters of faith. None has the right to impose his ideology or culture on others directly or insidiously. Freedom to choose one's faith, ideology, culture is a freedom given by Allah to His man, whom Allah loves so much. It forms one of the basic human rights which none has the license to usurp. Quran proves by citing successive examples over 5,000 years of man's history that whenever certain prophets tried to preach, convey the message of Allah, the societies not only repudiated, rebuked, disgraced, humiliated them, rather used force, manhandled, and persecuted them along with their few followers. That's all for today. Jazakallah. Please pray for me, ex-Brigadier Mustansir Billah.